Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charmley, and this is another Cumbrian church. This is the church of St Luke, Ousby. It's one of a line of historic churches along the bottom of the fells here. And given that one of them incorporates a Romano-British carving, it suggests that what we've got here is a situation where there were a series of pagan temples at the base, the bottom of the fells, the point where the water comes gushing forth, that these were taken over by Christians and they became a series of churches. This is the next church along from Kirkland, and again, like Kirkland, it's a medieval foundation, whether it's a medieval church, and this building is more or less as it would have been in the 13th century. The interior obviously is different, but the actual layout of the building is pretty much what it would have been in the 13th century. The earliest recorded rector is a man called Barnard in 1214. And it goes through, not all the rectors have been recorded, as at Kirkland there are some who've just been forgotten, but here for centuries there has been Christian worship going back almost certainly over 1,000 years to the early Celtic Christians who would have worshipped here at a church here. So we'll have a look around and have a look at this building. It's a very simple building. Most of the furnishings are 19th century, some are 20th century. Ousby is significant in being what's called a thankful village. That is to say that nobody from this village died in the First World War, and nobody from the village died in the Second World War either. So it's a village. Men went away to war, and in the Second World War women as well, but they all came back. And so the term was coined by Arthur Mee, the writer Arthur Mee, thankful villages, thankful that all the boys came home. So we'll have a look around and see various features here. As usual, we start at the west end. We've got the doors here, nice solid doors. There's a porch as well. They're nice, solid, well-fitting doors to keep the hot air in, because you don't keep the heat in, because we want heat in this building. We don't want a cold church. Nobody does. The font is a little Victorian, little 19th century bird bath. There we are. And those that blue cord, those are the bells. 2 bell ropes, a ding and a dong. We have here the thankful window. It says here, erected by the parishioners in grateful recognition of the mercy of God, who in his divine goodness of all his protection, all the men who went from this parish to the Great War 1914-18, and safely restored them to their homes. Lest we forget, yes, others perish, a thankful village. And obviously the centenaries connected with the Great War have been very much remembered here, as you can tell. The list of rectors from 1214 to 1998, not all are included here. Some of them, like Leonard Milburn, for example, because Milburn is a local location. Melton, Ousby, Sir Thomas de Kirkland, we know where he came from. William de Strickland. Because at this date you're looking largely at, and then 1376 got Simon de Wharton, and then there's a big gap until 1585, and Cuthbert Benton and Hugh Sewell appear just to have had both men the same year. Simple windows, simple pointy windows, and we proceed eastwards. We have these bench ends, again similar to what we've seen elsewhere at Milburn and at is it Milburn? No, it wasn't Milburn. What we've seen at Dufton, that's the place, Dufton, and Merton. Pulpit is a nice wooden one. It's like wooden pulpits. They certainly in church like this you want a wooden pulpit. You don't want a stone one. Quite simple, quite narrow. Harmonium rather than an organ. And here we are in the chancel now. We have here the great treasure, the wooden effigy a wooden effigy. We don't know very much about this person. Carved in oak. Now, crossed legs. Historically, of course, people thought this meant, oh, he's a crusade. It doesn't. It's just an artistic thing. And of course, he'd be painted, originally painted, so you couldn't tell the difference whether they were stone or wood. And he's survived. He's a survivor. That's good. I thought someone appears to have cracked his case. I do hope it's not someone trying to break in, because that'd be wrong. 20th century altar, Lamb of God, Agnus Dei, Alpha Omega, with the grapes and the grain, of course, for the elements of the Lord's Supper. We've got some really nice sedilia. I mean, look at those nice local red sandstone sedilia and a little piscina. Very, very nice. St. Luke in the east window. A rather crudely painted Christ on the reredos. We've got those plates will be taking, well, originally I suspect that little one would have been for communion, but the other one is definitely for taking the offering. Got roll of honour for both. That's a number of folk. Roll of honour for both world wars. And yes, ought not Christ to have suffered these things and enter into his glory? Luke bearing witness, of course, to Christ and him crucified. And so, sedilia. And this sort of effect of the bare stone and the painted wall is probably original. And there's the piscina with its little dish. I'd say this is 13th century, which is nice. Nice bit of 13th century work. And so there we are inside St. Luke's at Ousby. Only small. Because, of course, it's only a small parish, and again you've got that leaning outward wall as at Dufton. So a 12th century nave, much smaller than Dufton. It's a tiny little fellside church, and these fellside churches are well worth visiting. You can, as I've done, you do them all pretty much. It's just in a few hours along the hills, and there's some nice, if you want to get something to eat, there's some nice eateries down a bit further down. So there we are. Well, we'll have a look at the outside now. When it comes to the fellside churches, it's difficult to choose in terms of settings. They're all really in this beautiful setting at the base of the fells. And you can see here behind me again the lichen on the walls, a little bell cote, two bells dinging and dong, as I said, the little vestry. It's a beautiful building. I'll just have a look around the outside and marvel also at the setting, because the setting up here is breathtaking. I'd add there's better parking here than at Kirkland. Kirkland, as I said, I got stuck in the mud there. Not their fault, and a helpful local man towed me out, but the parking here is proper hard standing. And you can see here, you've got very typical, obviously the porch is Victorian, it's a typical south side entrance. No, it's a north side entrance, sorry. It's an unusual north side entrance, sorry, forget what I just said. North side entrance, we've got rough medieval stonework, and you can see evidence of windows that have disappeared. These windows are Victorian. The vestry, little vestry there. Little vestry? Or is that the boiler room? I think it's the boiler room, not the vestry. Rough stonework, old window openings. It's all very picturesque, and look at the setting. That's the setting. The fells, the wild fells high above. And it really is just so quiet here. We're far enough away from the firing range for it to be quiet here. And all you have is the sheep and the beck bubbling away below. And there's that church, look at that. Long and low, as these medieval Cumbrian churches often are. That will be the old rectory, I expect, there. Yes, it's got to be the old rectory. It's the only major house near the church. The main village is a little bit further away. There was a Methodist chapel here. Like so many, it's closed. No house. And here we are, the south side. Yes, there's a vestry on the south side. And Belcott, a long, low, historic building. The main entrance was at one point on the south side, I think. Maybe not. No, I think it's always been on the north side. Possibly. Hard to tell, I say, because the stonework's been so battered about a bit. But we've got these big memorials here, and of course this is the historic, the older part of the graveyard. And you can just see, yes, there's the old rectory. Substantial house. They always were rectories, or almost always. And you can see that there the Victorian vestry, and then this long, low medieval church. And there, hiding behind a later gravestone, is the churchyard cross, or the stump thereof. It is so beautiful and quiet here. There's the wind. And you can see sometimes some of these stones are beautifully carved. There's a big memorial there set into the wall. And it's little change in 100 years. And there's the fells beyond. So impressive, such a lovely setting here at the foot of the fells. And so there you have it, St Luke's, Ousby. Beautiful, low, long church. And it's rare to find one of these medieval Cumbrian churches that's still at least its historic Cumbrian church shape. Sometimes, let's say, they've changed over the years, they've been extended, enlarged. This one, look at it, I could say 12th century, and then it's had bits added in the 13th, and then it's just had windows and cosmetic changes since then. Well, thank you for watching. Good to, if you enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed making it. Even though the effort of going out and having to get my car unstuck at Kirkland is worth it. So come up here and see these beautiful, beautiful places. So thank you.